CyberGirls. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. How are you all doing? My name is DTM Tao, and I'm the programs lead here at Cyber Safe Foundation and your host for today's A Day in the Life session. If you're excited, I want to see that in the chat box. I already see ladies commenting and letting us know, that they're watching. So can we just make, even more fun? Can we just go CyberGirls to the world? And just include your flag. Just rep your country, right? So Cyber Girls to the world in the chat box. Let's keep going. Show your excitement. I'm really excited to be here. I don't know if you can tell, but I am. It's our first A Day in the Life series, this cohort. I wish we could have a drum roll at this point, and we're celebrating a day in the life of the SOC analyst. I say celebrating because this is the point where we pause, reflect on what our life looks like, celebrate people who have come before us, who are working and living that life, and ask a few questions. So please go ahead, cyber girls to the world in the chat box, and include your country flag if you can. You can just say where you're joining from if you can. That'll be another nice thing to do. But while we are doing all of that, I just want us to pause for a second and say a big thank you to those who made this possible. For Cisco, for Fortinet, for Checkpoint Secure, for INE, for ISC2. Let's just give it up. Yes, while we do that in the chat box. Yes, let's go. All right, I see some people joining in and showing their excitement. Thank you very much. Please keep at it. I like to see it. All right, so like I said, we're saying thank you to all our technical partners: InfoSec Institute, ISC2, Cisco Networking Academy, Practical DevSecOps, ACX, Microsoft ADC and ATO, Security Blue Team, Hack the Box, Checkpoint Secure Academy, AWS training and certification. Without them, we wouldn't have this program. The Cyber Girls Fellowship is sponsored by kind partners like this and donors around the world. And if you watch the first video coming on this session, it was our donation video for this cohort. So if you have not been sharing that already, please share it so all of the world can see it and contribute to the wonderful work we have going on here. So yes, like I said, Cyber Girls to the world. Yes, let's see it. Let's see the people joining from Kenya, Nigeria, Algeria. Give me all the other words. All right, like I said, my name is DTM Tao, and I'll be your host for this session. Just as some housekeeping rules, please, if you're joining the session, don't drop your phone one place and go some other way. You're going to miss some goodies. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the wonderful session. All right, so today we are pausing to get to know more about the SOC analyst, what that looks like. But before we get started on the flesh of today's matter, I want us to pause and say our mantra. All right, so are we ready, Cyber Girls? Are we ready, all of us? Everyone ready to say our mantra? For those who don't know, this is the heartbeat of the Cyber Girls Fellowship. So if you don't know it by heart, I'm going to save you the stress and put the wordings up on the screen. But please, by now, we should know it by heart. All right, so let's go from the top. 1, 2, ready, go. I am knowledgeable, resilient, and excellent. I am a fountain of value and an ardent problem solver. I am a voracious learner, so nothing is too difficult for me to master. I am a doer with genius intellect. 1, 2, ready, go. I'm a cyber girl. Are you proud to be a cyber girl? Just let us know. I am proud to be a cyber girl. Just let us know in the chat box how proud you are to be a cyber girl. Well, I'm proud by extension. And today we are joined by another cyber girl, a cyber girl alumnae, a cyber sister, as I would like to say, but most importantly, a cyber security professional who is a SOC analyst. Shalom is a SOC analyst at Cybervergent with demonstrated experience in cybersecurity, demonstrated experience in security monitoring, investigating, and responding to cyber threats. She began her cybersecurity journey as a cyber girl fellow in 2021 and has since grown her skills to become a multifaceted cybersecurity professional, skilled in incident response and mitigation. She is expanding her skill set by delving into malware analysis and incident response, further enhancing her ability to safeguard against evolving cyber threats. So, with so much excitement, I want us to celebrate Shalom Bulus as she joins us on stage. Give her a round of applause, everyone. Please, please do. Thank you so much, Shalom, for joining us. It gave me so much joy to see your face on the CyberGirls mantra video. I was like, yes, yes, that's a CyberGirl true and true. Hi, Shalom. How are you doing?
Hello, day team. Good afternoon. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. I must say it's an honor to have you, our very first cyber girl, on the day in the live series. How do you feel?
I'm so excited. I feel like I'm living in my future already. I never saw this coming. I'm very, very excited. Yes, I am.
All right, you can see the chat box. Everyone is warming up to hear from you. We're really excited. So let's dive into the conversation.
All
All right.
right.
So usually this is my last question, but I think I want it to be my first question today. What is the most adventurous thing you've ever done, and will you do it again?
Okay. I'm a very boring person. I have to start by that. I'm a very, very boring person. I hope to live the life one day, but right now I can say I hardly have adventure. I'm just here. I'm just hoping for the adventure one day. I'm hoping that I can be able to skydive and do a lot of. I'm excited about it already, but I don't have the money yet.
Oh, yeah, we can't wait for that moment where we see,
I can't
you
wait for that
Shalom bungee
too.
jumping or
You
skydiving.
know,
All right, all right, all right. So, you're a SOC analyst. Was this always the plan? Was it the plan that straight out of college, you'll be going into cybersecurity and specifically become a SOC analyst? Was that the plan?
okay. So, I come from the northern part of Nigeria. We are popularly known as the Hausas, and I'll tell you for free that till this very day, a lot of the northerners do not know what cybersecurity is. I didn't know the word cybersecurity until I started CyberGirls. In fact, I did the whole training and everything, and I didn't know what the word meant until the very first day I started. So it was never a plan. I had never seen it coming. I went to school and I studied biology, chemistry in education. So I was training to become a teacher. And as at when CyberGirls came, was waiting to go further my education in a degree in education. So I was going to study chemistry education. I had my NCE and just was waiting. And then Cyber Girls came. I didn't know what it was about, but I was like, well, let's give it a try. I'm not doing anything right now. And then I delved into it. So I never had any idea that anything like that existed before Cyber Girls. No, I didn't.
All right, just for context for those who are joining us, Shalom was in the very first cohort, and for that cohort, it was literally going on the streets to get people.
Yes.
So if you're wondering why her cohort was that simple that she got in and you couldn't without having some form of knowledge, that is why
Mm-hmm.
Shalom could come in. But it's really an interesting journey, from education, to
Mm-hmm.
cybersecurity. So obviously those plans didn't follow through. So now that
Not
you
at
know what
all.
cybersecurity is, you know what being a SOC analyst is. For some of us, that are like you, sitting back wondering, what does it mean to be a SOC analyst? Could you just, in your own words, let us know what that looks like?
Okay, so a lot of people would describe cybersecurity, a SOC analyst, as someone who investigates, someone who triages, someone who interfaces with alerts and alarms and events and investigates and triages to the next step. For me, I like to think of it as a gate man that monitors who comes into the environment and immediately reports that, oh, this person is not supposed to be here. There's something going on. So I like to think of a SOC analyst as somebody that sees anomalies and immediately raises an alarm to say there's something wrong here. So I think simply that is that.
I really like that analogy of a gate man because really that is it. Oh, you don't belong here. I say you're moving funny. You're acting shady. All right. So what
Yes.
would you say is the core difference between a tier one SOC analyst and a tier two SOC analyst? Sometimes we hear that I'm a SOC analyst one, SOC analyst two. What does that really mean?
Okay, the first thing is the years of expertise. So how much knowledge one person has. So SOC 2 or Tier 2 analyst has more knowledge, has more years of experience in the field than the Tier 1 analyst. But then let's go back to our analogy of being gatesmen and all of that. Think of a Tier 1 analyst as somebody that looks through an allow and a disallow guest list. So you come to the gate and he looks at you and say, oh, you are allowed, and say, okay, go in. And then he looks at, and then the Tier 2 there looks at you and say, yes, you are allowed into this place, but where is your seat? So the VIP section and just the guest section. So while the Tier 1 analyst interfaces with the events and the alarms and checks to see, am I sure that this is what it is, and just maybe I do not have enough knowledge to actually look through this. The Tier 2 analyst has more knowledge. I would delve deeper, and the Tier 2 analyst is more of an incident responder than a SOC analyst. So he responds to incidents that are occurring more likely than a Tier 1 analyst. So a Tier 1 analyst is just, what am I noticing that is abnormal? How can I relate? How can I investigate more? And does the investigation and moves it to the Tier 2 analyst depending on what he has noticed. So he's feeding up the Tier 1 and Tier 2 analyst based off the investigation. So I investigated this and this, and I noticed this, and I think you could do more investigation. That this is where my knowledge ends. That is just it.
All right, I really like that. So it's a system that has a chain of command. I do my bits and then I pass it on. I really like that. So think specialization, think a SOC analyst
True.
role. All right. So as a fellow who is just looking to start their career in cybersecurity, how would I know I want to be a SOC analyst? How would I know this is a great fit for me?
Okay, so how would you know? Are you a curious person? Do you like asking questions? So not what is this and just pause there, but you go further to ask, what is this? How is it working? Why is it like this? I'll just say you are already a soccer analyst. You are curious. Curiosity is it. It fails it for you. And then, do you like to study? Because you would see alarms that will get your brain just moving all around. So you would have to go. You have to do your research and check as much knowledge as you can feed off the internet. Or what is this? What is you? You know, you have to correlate events because you have to understand what event A is saying, then what event B is saying, and make sense out of it. So you have to make your own research. And I feel like you can't take away the internet from a soccer analyst. You cannot be too knowledgeable to take away that. So you have to ensure that you are open to learning. Oh, I want to learn more and more and more every day. I want to grow. Yes, you can do that. And then I would say if you are open to living a routine life, because the sock role can just get so mundane and you do the same thing every day until there's an incident and everybody is running all around. So if you're open to, and then another thing, if you can work through the night. So if you're open to working through shifts, so as a soccer analyst, it's a 24/7 role. You don't go on holidays. No, I don't have Christmas breaks. I don't have Easter breaks. I don't have Salah breaks. I don't have any of those. Since I started working in cyber field, SOC analyst field, I've not had any of those breaks. No, I haven't. So you would have to, if you're ready to let go of your breaks and your weekends, because there's no weekend. For instance, I did the night shift yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday, but I was at work till this morning. So if you're ready for that, good and fine. So yes, there's that.
All right, I really like all the things you listed out. I think noticing patterns is another thing that falls into your scope. Can you notice there's a pattern here and just point it out. So if you like playing puzzles, jigsaw, maybe you can transfer that skill. And for those who are wondering why do you work 2-4-7, I think because cybersecurity, cyber threats don't have the timetable. They don't come only during work days. They can come at any point in the night. So it's a 2-4-7 thing. So thank you so much, Shalom, for sharing that. So why exactly? What is the reasons that you chose to be a SOC analyst? Coming from a background in education, why did you choose? I want to be a SOC analyst. Why was that the thing for you?
Okay, so I think my journey in cybersecurity is a pretty funny journey. So I have been one person that I hate to admit, but I am guided by fear. I don't know if you get that. So when I started the cyber girls, I didn't know what cybersecurity meant. So there was just this fear that what can you actually even do? So we started, I remember then we started the whole project. We do our open days, yes, open days. And then Kaduna State, I am from Kaduna State, and then I did my cyber girls in Kaduna State. So we were to do a couple of pen testing stuff, and I was good at those because not like I grew into it, but I learned them. I am one person that asks a lot of questions. So I would call CS. God bless her for me. I called CS at night. I remember there was this day I called CS and I was crying. I said, CS, I am trying to understand bash scripting and I can't get it. And then she called Coach Mo. I don't know if he also coaches this set, but she called Coach Mo and said, Shalom is calling me. Please, can you get to her? Can you teach her this thing? I think we had that call till very late at night where he was teaching me. But when it came to specialization, I was scared to take the pen testing role. I wasn't so sure about it. I was I was skeptical that I could actually do it. So I felt, well, the SOC role is a bit easier. Let's do that. And I didn't get over that fear until last year. If CS is on this call or she can see this, she realized that she remember I had an internship with I had an internship opportunity with Unilever, a big company, and I went there boldly, or so I thought, and did the interview. And one of the feedback they gave was that I was nervous. You don't want this ever in your life, that you have the opportunity to do good, to do great, and nerve is your problem. And that day I told myself, I am done with it. I can never be nervous in my life again. If I'm going to be nervous, nobody must see it within. So I realized that being nervous and not confident about myself has actually directed my path in a lot of things, especially in choosing. I feel like I would have made a brilliant pen tester, but I'm here. I'm doing good. Yes. So
All
I
right.
think fear
So
was what
this,
directed me here.
yeah, I'm really glad you've been able to, I'd say, develop the mechanism to manage that fear better. I don't think anyone ever lives a life free of fear. However, our ability to manage it and not let us control us. So I'm really glad for growth, because that's what I hear, growth in that aspect of your life. So great. Some people are asking, so no breaks, so no breaks. We're getting all worked up about no breaks. You can take a leave, right? Shalom, that's correct, right? You can take a leave.
You can take a leave. Yes, you can take a
You can.
leave,
So please, it's not
but it
that.
cannot be during the festive period. It cannot be
Definitely,
during the
that is
festive
that
period.
is peak, that's peak season for attacks. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
That's peak season for attack. So sorry, your Christmas is going to have to go on. You over time, I think you'd start to look at these holiday seasons and find out that you can do without them. All right. So when you were talking about how everything is mundane in the SOC system up until something happens, an incident occurs, I just remember the meme I saw some days ago, and someone says a SOC analyst after their first incident, and you need to see the wailing. They were just wailing and wiping tears, and and it just made me wonder, are there any memorable incidents in your own experience, an investigation you may have experienced, an incident as a SOC analyst that you'd like to share with us?
Okay, just like he said, that meme you saw. Once there's an incident, everybody is running. Everybody is, I remember during the Cyber Girls Fellowship, there was this time in 2021 December where there was Log4j. You can read about it if you're on this call. And I remember I saw a lot of memes about cybersecurity professionals not able to celebrate Christmas because of Log4j. And I didn't get what it meant. I was like, that is not a big deal. But so in March or ending February, one of our clients had an incident. I didn't know so much about what was ongoing, but when I came in to work and I heard my team lead and some senior analysts talking about it, I jumped in and I was trying to give my own 2 cents, and I was just trying to say, what if it was this, and what if it was that, and what if it was, and just a lot of questions. And afterwards, they finished it. I wasn't really involved in that. But then in March, Another client had another incident. And I remembered I went to work that morning and my team lead just came up and said, Shalom, you're following me to the client side. Well, what's that? He said, leave monitoring today. You are going somewhere. And that is something I'd never seen anybody go to the client side apart from the team lead. So that's like going to the environment, the physical environment. So if you're working with a bank, you're working with a fintech, you are going to the office. So apparently this fintech had this bank, sorry, had an incident. They had noticed through an EDR we were not monitoring for them, and they called out to the team lead to say, oh, this is ongoing, we need you to come in. And he decided myself and another senior analyst should come in. And for him, he said, because I had a previous discussion on the previous incident and he felt there's more to me than just being him. So I went there, and they just started, they were showing us on their big screen the EDR and how much impact it had made on their environment. So it started from one system, and by the time we got there, I think it was 22 systems, and it was spreading. And I was like, wait, what am I doing here? I just started this, please, I don't understand. But well, it was a lot of checking the internet. What does this mean? What could this mean? What how does it relate? It was exciting, it was fearful, and then there was this urge to, I want to make an impact. I just want to make a contribution that makes sense. And I had just started learning malware analysis. So I had a bit of knowledge on how malwares work. So I could say, oh, just what if this is this? Just, and I was asking intelligent questions, and everybody was like, whoa, she has some sense in this. But for me, I was just, God, I cannot disgrace my ancestors here. So yes, that was an exciting, that was just last month, and I have not gotten over the high of it because not a lot of people have the privilege to interface with that. And afterwards, I called out to the senior analyst and I was like, you see, I was there and I did feel like I made a lot of impact. And he was like, what do you mean by that? You were asking questions that made us, this is good, and you were making contributions that were very good. And at a point I was like, give me this file, I want to run a malware analysis. And everybody was like, but you just started. And I'm like, give it to me. And yes, I did. And it is interesting, it is interesting. So that is one interesting thing for me. And I think since that day I realized I can do more. So yes, I'm going at it more.
You can definitely do more. And I like that your team lead just stopped you there, because once you said I was asking intelligent questions, I think some people underestimate how much the questions they ask steer situations. You must have, they're like, this is acting like a malware. And they'll be like, oh, why didn't I
Mhm.
even think of that? And I'm really
True.
glad you could bring value and you didn't let fear get in the way. So for those who are sitting back and wondering, what they think I can contribute, I just started work, I don't know anything, that's untrue. You have some opinion you can share. Be open to learning at all points, but don't underestimate what it is that you know. And you can see the chat box. Some people are asking about the skills, right? Because they are curious. Malware analysis already? How did we get there? But before we go to answer that question, some people really want to know: do I need to know networking? What technical skills do I need? What essential technical skills do I need as an aspiring SOC analyst? Should I focus on my networking now? Am I going to be doing something similar to that of a hacker? Just help us narrow down what technical skills do they need?
Okay, so like we know, a hacker is an attacker. You as a SOC analyst, you are the defender. So think of skills that will make you note that there is an attack. Think of skills that will make you realize that something is wrong. If you have a knowledge of networking, it means you can see an abnormal network communication and you are able to see this is wrong. If you have a technical skills on how to use SIM tools, because that is one thing you will be interfacing with almost every day. You would have stuff that bring up events and alarms for you and you respond to them accordingly. So yes, you would need a knowledge of networking, you need a knowledge of SIM tools, you need to understand EDRs, that is endpoint and endpoint detection and response. So these are tools that are placed on different endpoints and bring up activities that are happening on the endpoint. Yes, you should. And I think you should also learn malware analysis, because malware analysis changed the game for you in your monitoring. So as a SOC analyst, when you learn malware analysis, because you know how malwares react, you know what to check out for. You know what, well, I am seeing a registry key change. What is happening here? I am seeing that there's a scheduled task ongoing. Somebody has scheduled something that I didn't, that should not occur. What is going on here? I can see downloads, I can see exfiltration. Because you have studied and see that malware acts in this way, you are able to stop them while they are trying to make compromises. And then incident response, yes, it is we say it's a skill set that comes up after being a SOC analyst. But if you can respond to incidents, I can tell you that you will not stay long in being a tier one analyst. You will move very fast. So yes, these are few skills that I think you should have.
All right, this is the point where I shall take your notes. So take notes. Shalom is dropping hits here. Take notes. All right. So, Shalom, when it comes to pivoting, I yes, I'm starting off as a soccer analyst, but that's not where I have to remain. What are my options? What are my options? Other cybersecurity or other infosec parts I can pivot in my career to over time.
So I will start by saying, if you're a SOC analyst, you are a boss, because you can go anywhere. Let me explain. So as a SOC analyst, you can become a very great pen tester. Why? Because you know you know what you know how to defend, so you would know how to offend without being noticed. So you know how to evade detection. So let me tell you, if a gatesman, using our analogy, if a gatesman wants to steal from you, he will steal better than somebody that has never been in that house, because he knows the nooks and crannies. He knows where to run from. He knows where, usually as a gateman, you would look out for, and where you would not look out for. So I think you could be a great pen tester. And if you're moving into GRC that is not so technical, you are going to excel so much that it will be very fast, I think, for you to get into the C management, that is the CISO level and all of that. Because then when you are enforcing policies, you are doing it from the point where you know what defense is, you understand what offense is, and you can give off your knowledge. And even if you want to go into sales, because you understand these tools, let's say one day you decide, oh, I don't want to do the technical thing, I want to go into sales. Because you understand the tools. If you are selling it off, you are selling it as a better person, because you are convincing the customer to say, oh, I have used this tool before, I know what it does. Imagine the market person that has used this. It's just like when somebody has used, let's say, a cosmetic product, and can tell you, look at my face, I've used this thing. So there's evidence. So if you are a SOC analyst and you're going into sales, I'm telling you that you will kill it. So yes, I feel like as a SOC analyst, you can pivot into any field at all, and you will do great.
Thank you so much. When you were saying that, just like evidence is everywhere. There's so much. All right. So for those who didn't know, you can keep dropping your questions in the chat box. I am paying attention to it. I am noting them down. And at the end of this session, Shalom will answer the ones we are yet to answer during the conversation. All right. So please go ahead and keep dropping them while we gather and move on with the session. All right. So Shalom, what would you say the most challenging part of your job is? When you say that, don't forget you're going to also tell me what the most interesting part is. So challenging first and then the most interesting part.
Okay, so for me, the most challenging part is how it could be a routine. You go and do the same thing, you come back the next day, do the same thing. I had always had issues with routine, so yes, that for me is a big challenge. But because of the interesting parts, the uninteresting part is not does not surface a lot. So the interesting part is that you see alarms that have you studying. So if you're a SOC analyst, you get to study every day. So because I get to study new things every day, it does not feel like a routine. So I get to ask, what is this? And oh, can I check it? And I get to make correlations. Oh, I think this relates to what I saw yesterday. And because of that, it makes it a bit interesting because I learn on the job. For me, I learn on the job every day. I am study. See, the way I am excited about how much I study in the SOC field, I don't know, but the excitement to study and to be able to share it gives me a kind of joy. I don't know. I can't say it. It's just a lot. So yes, the excitement to study, it is the interesting thing for me.
I think it stems from your test for knowledge as a person. You're a very curious person. Like you said, curiosity is a part of this journey. So if you're curious, having answers to your questions will be
Mm-hmm.
more satisfying, the
True.
dopamine rush and all of that. So I totally get it. So one of the things you've repeatedly said on this call about your field research is a component, daily studying. So you must always have the learner's mindset, I
Mm-hmm.
presume, and
Mm-hmm.
curiosity. All right. So if you're getting off this call and you're wondering what are the three things that actually highlight it, I think we've
Mm-hmm.
we've been able to sum it sufficiently, right?
True. 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 Yeah.
All right. So the most interesting part is you learning every day. The most challenging part is how mundane and repetitive, life can be there. Up until a cyber incident occurs, and then
Yes.
everything comes and everything happens.
And then when there's an incident, everything you've studied in those days where it felt so mundane, you begin to apply it. You
Hmm.
begin to apply it. You're like, oh, I remembered I studied this about this, and you're just sharing knowledge amongst yourself in the team because this person has studied this and this person has studied this, and you're making sense of it. So the excitement is because you have worked during those days when it was boring. So yes, there's that.
Preparing for the war, I guess. So yeah,
True.
preparing for the war. So every day we are preparing for the war. So before
Yes.
this attack happens, oh, we've seen similar. We've learned things that will feed into that. So that's really good. All right. So if there's something different from being a soccer analyst you could have done, what would it be and why?
I would have been a pen tester. I would totally love to be a pen tester. And I think I would do that. I think I would do that.
You think you'll pivot?
Because yes, because yeah, yes, I think I would do that. So I remembered when I was interviewing for my job and I gave them how I want to go. I want to become a stock analyst and in a few years become a pen tester and in a few years become a GRC professional. And everybody was like, I don't understand. Yes, and I told them I want to retire in the GRC field. And they were like, this girl is already talking about retirement when she hasn't gotten the job yet. But yes, I think I would love to be a pen tester. I don't know, but I think it comes with a lot of challenges. I used to think that the SOC analyst field does not come with a lot of challenges. I feel it was boring, but not anymore. But the pen test role comes with, I think, daily challenges. But then life is as you take it. If you decide to also be a boring pen tester where you don't want to grow, it will still be boring for you. So I think the challenges is what would likely take me to pen testing.
I really like that you have this whole thing chatted out, and I really can't wait to see Shalom 5 years from now, Shalom 10 years from now. I'm curious, because if I had spoken to Shalom 4 years ago, Shalom would tell me I'm about to go and get my master's in education. So who knows what Shalom will be doing in 5 years? But I'm really excited to see what that
Yes.
becomes. Okay, so some people are
Mm-hmm.
asking, what certifications do I need to gather? These are our jobs that we are talking about. What certifications do I need to get?
Okay, you're starting out. And yes, a lot of entry jobs would ask for a lot of certifications. But I would surprise you to say that I can even say I don't have certifications that I've paid for because to be honest, I'm not written a lot of them. But if you are one person that comes from an average home and does not have the money for certifications, do the free certifications you see, do the free courses you see, and then sell yourself on the social media. So my mentor would say that if they don't hear from you, you don't exist. So if we don't see you on the internet telling us what you do, we don't know that you exist. So as you study those free courses, Tell us what you studied, how it can apply to an environment. So tell me you took the CC that certified in cybersecurity certification, and tell me that if I employ you today, this is what you bring to the table. And yes, you might not have the certification. So you could have certifications like SEC Plus, you could have certifications like CISA, still comes here. You could have BLT1, you could have there's this other course that's escaping my mind. It's still in the SOC analyst field. Yes, you could have all of those things. But I will tell you that um do what you can what you can access at this point. If you don't have certifications at this point, just sell yourself out there. Think it is a marketplace and sell yourself out there.
Thank you so much, Shalom, for that. It is a marketplace, and if we do not hear from you, we think you are gone. You no longer exist in our world. So please tell yourself.
Yes.
And just to add to what Shalom has said, when it comes to certifications, I think your BLT one. Don't worry, just hold that one. All right, that's okay. Before we start building on it with CISA and the rest, that's much later. All right, get the first step, your BLT one, and get started. But most importantly than certifications, I think she's already clearly said it, knowledge, not certifications, the knowledge of it. And sometimes you find those things in free courses. So don't box yourself in waiting for all of the certifications. You'll find that you're just
Mm-hmm.
shortchanging yourself waiting around. So, like I said, please ask your questions in the chat box. We'll be getting to it. So, people want to know from you, Shalom, what advice would you give fellows, who want to, who want to venture into this path that you somehow sometimes wish you knew before now? There are some things you've learned in this your journey. Like, if I knew this a year ago, if I knew this 2 years ago, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't act like this. So, can you share some of those things? Can you just advise us? What are some of those
Okay.
things?
I would say create a niche for yourself. So get something you love doing and do it well. Let it be known that they cannot take this from this person. She knows it well. And I think one way you can do that is, what do you enjoy doing? Oh, and for instance, I studied to be a teacher. If I teach cybersecurity, I feel like you can sleep, you will dance in my class, you will understand, because it is what I love doing. And when I inculcate it in what I do, I shine. So you cannot take teaching away from me, you cannot take stuff around public speaking away from me. I will do well in it. So I feel like, learn a niche. So if you want to do malware analysis, before you get the job, learn how to do it. By the time you get the job, your employer will be so surprised that even though you're an entry level person, you know this thing. So your movement or your growth is going to be so fast. So I think build something that you are peculiar about. Another thing is, when you land your first job, check in your check around your team. What is that knowledge gap? So what is that thing that they do not have? Begin to learn on it. So if you go to the team and you realize that they do not have an incident responder, begin to study to become an incident responder. So when an incident comes, do you know what that means? You are going to shine. You just have to shine. So learn. If you want to become a malware analyst, learn to become that thing before you even get the job. So when there is a malware activity, when you begin to speak, everybody will keep quiet. So I feel you should build a niche for yourself. Yes, do not just jump in confused. Oh, I do not know what I'm to do, I just jump in, because before you know it, you will get frustrated. Yes, you would.
All right. I think I really like that point. You narrow down, build depth, and then you extend. So I know malware analysis. This one I know. Okay, what's the next one, right? I guess that and I
Yes.
keep moving. That is such good advice. Thank you so much. Okay, so what are the tools you use in your daily activities? We've talked about the SOC, and how things happen and the chain of command in the SOC. What tools do you use as a SOC one? What do you use? What tools do you use in your daily work?
Okay, I use the same tools. That's security information and event management tools. I use I use I use EDRs. to monitor my client's environment. Obviously, I use the web application firewall tools. Now these are based off my company, what we use in my company. um in different organizations they use different things based off what your customer wants, but based off our client environments, this is majorly what I use.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shalom. So, if I'm job hunting, and I'm going on LinkedIn to look for jobs, what are some of the job titles that a SOC should look out for? Oh, aside the obvious SOC analyst, that's clearly spelled out. Sometimes it's hidden under a couple of other things. So, what are those
Okay.
other common roles you have encountered?
Okay, cyber defense analyst, cyber security analyst, um and the whole SOC analyst, entry level, tier one, tier two. But sometimes I would also say that you should check through the job roles. You just might find out that what they are describing and the title they had set in are two different things. So you might find out that they are describing a SOC analyst, but they are putting stuff like maybe security consultant, security analyst, or cybersecurity analyst, whatever the title is. Go through what is expected of you, your day-to-day activity, or even security engineer. Yeah, you would get that, but when you go through it, you find out that it is just being a SOC analyst. So yes, those are some titles.
All right, thank you so much. So, the most important thing to a lot of women and a lot of people on this call, money. Money. So, when it comes to pricing, when it comes to valuing your skills in the cybersecurity environment, so a lot of people here that's new. So, how do you determine, your value? How do you know that okay, this is the range I should be earning as an entry level SOC analyst? So, how does that work in your world?
Okay, so first I will tell you this: there is a learning phase, there is a relationship phase, and there is an earning phase. Do not jump any. Don't go for a phase to earn when you have not learned. Don't go to a phase to earn when you've not built relationships. You would always, my dad used to say that when you jump ships, you would repeat classes. So I feel like when you study and then you sell yourself out there, you begin to build relationships. And your relationships could just materialize into money. But most times, except if you are very lucky, your first job will not give you the tech money you used to hear there is. Your first job might just give you more learning. If you get that opportunity, take it and manage it. By the time you are going into your second role or second job, where you would have studied and built um relationship, you built your learning, you would be in your earning phase, and you can negotiate. You can begin to say, I want so number of days for holidays, I want so amount in cash or for salary, I want this and this. Yes, but if you are still in your learning phase and a job comes, please don't try to earn. Try to just continue to learn and build relationships. Yes.
So you learn, you build the relationships, and then you earn. Don't skip stages. Don't try to make one stage what this is not. All right. That thank you so much. And thank you to your father because I know that's where that came from. All right. Okay. So people are asking, you know, in every career, people have different experiences of people in different genders, different roles. Has anyone ever stood in the way, of your career? Have you had someone who was, a stumbling block of some sort, and how did you manage that situation? If you haven't had that experience, that's fine as well.
Okay, so um my first response to a lot of things is to cry. I love to cry.
Let it all
CS
go.
knows that. CS knows
Let
that.
it all
CS know
go.
that I'm going to cry. So I had an incident where I was working with a senior analyst, and I'm sure that he might not even realize that he offended me. But then we were working for months. I think I was working for 3 4 months before somebody else joined us on the shift. And then next thing I heard him saying, I'm going on a break. So I need to teach the junior analyst to cover up for me. Now he is a man. The person after me is also a man. And then he now was saying, I'm going to teach and I'm like, I am here. I'm supposed to be, because I am based off I came before this person. I should be learning this. But he never taught me. I was just not there. I was just invisible, and I cried a lot. I am, I the office bathroom. I use it a lot. I cried. I cried so well. I was hurt. But what I did was to learn those tools. I learned them without him teaching me. So I was like, you know what? I need somebody to teach me these things. Teach me. So on the day where somebody was, do you know how to do this? I'm like, yes, I know how to use it because I've learned them. So yes, there's
I,
that.
I, I, I really like that resilience. That's a show of resilience. I'm going to learn it. If you teach it, great. I would love to learn from you. If you do not teach it, I will search for the knowledge where I can find, and I will get it. Thank you, Shalom, for just showing us how that could play out in the work environment. You do not have to, fully rely on those in, other offices, people in higher authority to teach you. If they do not teach, go for it. Get the knowledge where you can. That's so spot on. That is so spot on. So when you were speaking, again, like you can see, the chat box is blowing up. People started to ask questions around, the nature of your role. You mentioned earlier that it was physical and had no breaks. Are there possibilities of having a remote SOC role? Or can it be hybrid?
Yes, a lot of times it is physical, then some sort of hybrid. But in Nigeria, I feel like we've not inculcated the remote part of jobs a lot of times. So we don't do a lot of remote jobs. But yes, I feel you could do remote. You could work remotely. You don't have to be in a physical space to be a SOC analyst. I don't think you have to be in a physical space, because these tools are not physical tools. They are tools you could access from your laptop. So yes, I don't think you have to be in a physical space. You can work as a remote SOC analyst, yes.
All right. So for those who are asking, you have your answer. Um, in your experience, working in a SOC, learning every day. I'm sure there are times when you're a bit burnt out, overwhelmed. How I started crying. How else do you manage this? Because once we break down, once we get back there, once we let the tears flow, we need to leave that room with a plan. It doesn't always end there. So how do you go on to manage the situation post shedding the few tears?
So I feel like you have to have anchors outside your job. When I say anchors, I mean people that give you joy. For me, for personally, for me, I feel like my family gives me joy. I can see the comment, somebody is saying, but cry first. Yes, cry first. I cry first. But I have people I run back to and they give me joy. I was telling my dad that my job has not been easy, but he doesn't know that, because I don't want to mix up the place where I get joy and from how much my job burdens me. So I don't want to be on the call and my dad is asking me, oh, how stressful is the job? How did it go today? No, I want him to feel like I am not going through anything. So we just gist as though I am having a smooth life. So when I get off that call, I'm smiling. If you see me off the call with my family, my I can handle mountains, because those people give me. So just have anchors. They could be friends. For instance, I'm sure that Bisola is on this call and she can hear me. Bisola is an anchor I got from CyberGirls. Bisola has held me through thick and thin, and there are days I call and I just cry, and when I'm crying and she'll be like, are you done crying or do you want to cry more? So one thing I want you, don't just pick to be a SOC analyst. Pick friends on these cohorts, people that would hold you through it all. So this is an opportunity to build a community. So community of people that clap for you, people that tell you, Shalom, you didn't do this well, people that will prepare through interviews with you. So, like I said, remember I mentioned relationship from the very beginning. Relationships are very essential. Relationships are like ATM cards. that when your cash is finished on the way, you can slot in your ATM card and cash up from it. So do not take away friendships and relationships. Do not take it away.
I really, really love that. When we were speaking about the culture, that just what came to mind is a detox session. He just comes to help with a detox. And then when you were speaking about community, I just remember the quote from our founder, Confidence. I think we use this every other time. Sisters are God's way of saying you do not have to walk alone. They serve as a
True.
safety net. Once you started mentioning Bisola's role with in your own career and other cyber sisters and friends you made along the way, it just became pertinent that you need a community. It takes a
True.
village. It takes actually takes a
You
village. I
can't do
really
it alone. You can't do it alone.
it definitely can't. All right, so we're going to walk through your daily activities. Let's say it is a Monday. It's Shalom's Monday. What does that look like for you at work? Are they tasks you do on a daily basis? Just walk us through it. You can use your busiest day.
So my Monday can be in the morning, it could be in the afternoon, it could be in the night. So
Just use
in the next 3 hours, I would be starting my Monday. So
ah,
yes, I've been at home since 7 a.m. and I'll be going to work by 7 p.m. So yes, when you go to work, first thing we do in my environment is that we declare our shifts. Now declaring your shifts means that you are saying, I am going to be handling this particular client today. It means if anything goes amiss, you are going to be held responsible. So when you've declared your shift, you begin to work, where you begin to monitor your client environment. You begin to check for anomalies, and then we work with playbooks. Playbooks are basically what helps you respond to events and alarms better. So maybe the client had provided that, oh, if you see this account creation from so person, this person is an admin, you don't need to raise it. But if you see it at say 12 a.m. in the night, then definitely that is not the person working hour. So we raise alarms or we raise tickets. We call them tickets. Now this ticket says what you have seen in the alarm and what it could be if it was maliciously done. So I can see an account creation alarm, and I'm raising a ticket to say, oh, this is what account creations mean when they are done legitly. But if it is done with a malicious purpose, this is what it could mean. It could mean that, oh, an attacker is trying to take over, an attacker is trying to do escalation of privileges and all of that. So yes, you raise tickets, and sometimes you have to follow up with the client. So sometimes if the ticket is very something that is very severe or something urgent, you would have to call the client to say, I saw this, can you verify what exactly is happening in your environment? So we don't just say, oh, he would respond whenever they respond. No, you want them to respond as soon as possible. So yes, there's that. And raising tickets and then following up with clients. I think that's about it. And also reach out to people around you to ask questions based on what they've monitored. So you could just go through the ticketing platform to see what was the ticket raised before you came, what is it saying, and okay, how do I go about what was raised before now? How do I understand it? So sometimes we have ticket reviews with our clients where we explain tickets that we've raised. So in that ticket review, you explain in details that, oh, this is what this ticket meant, and this is what I think, and this is what you should do. So in your tickets, you carry recommendations. So yes.
wow, I feel like I've just gained so much knowledge already. I'm ready to start work. Are they looking for anyone in your office? I'm ready to start. I think I have all I need. What's that? I'm ready for work. All right. So a couple of people are like me who are still interested and they want to still know some more. Um, we're not going to talk specifics because this figure may vary from country like, to country, companies, and all of those things. But would you like to share what's the usual range? We have something like that, an entry level SOC in your own country. This would differ definitely from other countries on this call. But just what have you heard? What on the streets? What's the range?
Okay, words on the street. I think from 100,000 naira to about 250,000 naira. Yes, I think that's a range.
All right. Okay. So Shalom is being conservative, and I like that. It depends on a lot of things. For those who are asking, it depends on, the knowledge you've gathered, how many years you worked prior. Again, you can bargain based on the unique package that you are. The
Yes.
organization also has its own, rates
Yeah,
it
yeah.
has aside. So don't worry, don't be too fixated on the figure. Just get what it is you need to hit the market,
True.
and then you can
Yes.
choose as you go. All right, so what were the difficulties? I just want you to, in three different words or one word, difficulties in your first few months, one or two words.
On the job.
On the job.
Yes. Difficulties on the job. First, a lot of times I would look at the logs and the alarms and I would get overwhelmed. I just look at them and I'm like, what the hell is this? If you follow me on LinkedIn, I think I made a post about that because those logs look like they were written in Swahili. I'm like, what is this? What am I supposed to do? So the logs were overwhelming because I didn't understand where to go from. And then another thing is I didn't know how to do my research. So I would see some logs and I wouldn't know how to do my research. I didn't know the right questions to ask because I have never seen these alarms before. So yes, I think those are two major things for me.
All right, thank you. And I think this will be my last question because Shalom, you've been amazing all through. I think we've covered everything. So, how do you balance, your work life with your personal life? You emphasize the fact that you have to do daily learning. So, at what point do you fix this in? Do you have like a routine you want to share with us? Oh, maybe I do 5 hours of this, 2 hours of this, 1 hour. Just walk us through what that looks like for you.
I wish I could say I have a balance. I don't have a balance. I am not balanced at all.
You're still figuring it out.
I am very unbalanced. Hey God. See, I am almost the most unbalanced person at this point. Please, I am not balanced. And I don't think you are going to have balance in the first few years of working. It will take a while. But take your time. Don't don't rush. So for me, if I list out what I do, so presently I am schooling in a university online. I am working. I have a side gig I do because the money has to be made. So I have a side gig I do, and then I'm supposed to go to the gym. I'm supposed to be in the gym. Supposed is the main word. But because I don't have a balance, that gym has paused for a bit. So I think balance is a lot. And then for someone like me that have had to move from Kaduna, the northern part, to Lagos to work, I have to have family time. I have to reach out to family every day. So, for instance, I've had to call my people before this call because I'm like, don't call me during this call so that you don't disrupt my network. So that balance is hard. Is almost impossible. So for the first few, I think first few years, my CSO will tell you that he had not had balance until he had worked for 15 years in the field before he began to build balance. I don't want to reach 15 years. I cannot reach 15 years. But I don't have any balance yet.
All right. So, okay. I really appreciate the honesty. I think I'm just going to pause and just share one tip. This is not going to automatically make your life 100% balanced. However, if you hear something she said she had set aside family time. You knew your family was going to call you. That means you have a routine. You call them when you are not at work. You just don't know it yet. So be conscious about the one thing that matters to you. Is it family? Because you can hear for Shalom, family, community is the most important thing. That could differ from you. You could be a religious person and that's what really matters to you. So just remember the one thing that matters, set time aside for it. And hopefully, like Shalom, you can enjoy both your job, enjoy your family, and keep growing every day. All
Mm.
right, we have just 2 minutes to go. And I have really enjoyed every bit of our session.
Okay, I don't know. Can I? There was a question I
Yes,
saw.
I want you to give me some love. Yes, go ahead.
There was a question I saw earlier on. Someone asked that from the beginning, did you always understood or understand what you were studying? So I will tell you that no, some days, like I mentioned it the very first time, the very first from the introduction I spoke about how there was a day I called CS and I was crying because I did not understand what I was studying. There are days that you don't get it. And I think you should give yourself grace. If you don't get it today, you might just get it later on, and you might just get it tomorrow. So don't be so hard on yourself. Oh, it's because I am dumb, it's because I am daft, it's because I don't have sense. No, it is mostly maybe it might be because you are just tired. So give yourself grace.
Grace, extend grace to yourself, speak to yourself with love. And when you are at crossroads, just remind yourself with the mantra, I am knowledgeable, I am
Please
resilient.
hold your head and
Hold
be
your
saying
head and
it.
scream it.
Nothing is too hard for me to master.
Nothing is too difficult for me to master.
Not at all.
Thank you so much, Shalom. Do you have any last words before we call it a day? It's been a wonderful session. Any last words for us?
I don't know the last words, but I have enjoyed this, and I just want to say that if you are on this call and you've had this opportunity, use it to the best of maximize it, because in years to come you would live your dream, you would live your best life, you would live a better life, and you'll be so happy that you actually did the work. I used to tell my kid sister that if there's one thing I wish I had known in nursery class, is that I could read more and I could understand better, because I would have built a better life. That is in nursery class. I don't want you to have regrets after that, that if I had studied more in CyberGirls, study. And then another thing, when you finish the cohort, you might not get your job immediately. Do not get discouraged. Continue to study, continue to hone your skills, continue to be out there, and when your job comes, we are going to celebrate you. So don't stop clapping for others, keep clapping until it is your turn.
Keep clapping until it's your turn. Thank you so much, Shalom. You can already see the round of applause that the ladies
Thank
have
you
to
so
offer,
much.
and
Thank
they would
you.
love
This
to
is
connect with
reaching in
you.
my
But
future. Thank you. Thank you
all
so
right,
much.
all right, thank you so much, and you can see all the love. If people want to connect with you on LinkedIn, how do they go about it?
Please go ahead. I am Shalom Bulus. If you can recognize my face, that is me. Go ahead, please.
All right. So please go ahead and connect with her on LinkedIn. For those who are interested in mentorship, I saw that in the chat box. Please go ahead and connect with Shalom. Thank you so much, Shalom. I really enjoyed every second with you. I look forward to having more sessions with you, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I wish you girls all the best. I wish you the favor you need. I wish you the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding, the excellent spirit you need. You have it in you. You just might not know it, but you have it in you. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Bye. Take care.
Oh my, it's been quite the